series of themes. We may recognize that his themes are not far removed from the usual critical analysis of genres, though Bonhoeffer never uses such phrasing. Of the themes he explores, I note 4 of them that seem especially poignant for us. These 4 themes not only reflect Bonhoeffer's instincts and concerns, they also pertain directly to our contemporary engagement with the psalm in our context. First, Bonhoeffer recognizes that the Psalter is designed for both public, liturgical, and personal daily prayer. Thus, at the center of his thinking is the community of the church. Given that reference point, Bonhoeffer takes up the Psalms that celebrate Jerusalem, Zion, and transposes those prayers toward the church. The most familiar of these are Psalms 46 and 84. The Psalms celebrate the church and focus on life situated in the church. Second, with reference to the many Psalms of lament, Bonhoeffer comments on them under the theme of suffering. He follows Luther, who exclaimed, "Where do you find more miserable, more wretched, more depressing words than in the Psalms of lamentation?" While the suffering attested to in these Psalms pertains to ordinary life, it pertains more particularly to suffering wrought in obedience to vocation. The latter, of course, is an accent especially pertinent to Bonhoeffer's own life. Third, Bonhoeffer's interpretation of the Psalms finally comes down to hope, the Christian conviction that God's will for life will prevail over every trouble we face. Bonhoeffer himself had deep confidence in this hope of God's ultimate final rule, a confidence that gave him great freedom for the risky enactment of his faith. Bonhoeffer affirms God is always already on the other side of death. Therefore, not death, but life will triumph in the power of God. There is no chatter here about life after death. Rather, faith concerns the ultimate power and victory of God, an assurance that matters daily to the faithful. Fourth, most difficult and most important, Bonhoeffer considers the Psalms of imprecation that concern passionate hostility toward one's enemies. Bonhoeffer had no wish to soften the fierceness of these Psalms. He sees them, however, as expressions of confidence in the faithfulness of God to establish God's just rule in creation. Vengeance belongs to God, and in the power of Jesus, the thirst for vengeance is transposed to gracious forgiveness. The sum of Bonhoeffer's study is that the book of Psalms is converted from a collection of nice poems of spirituality to a vigorous articulation of faith. The daily practice of praying the Psalms thus cannot be simply a comfortable devotional exercise. Rather, it is the reframing of all of life toward the rule of Christ. And because of the demands of the gospel, the reframing is a daily requirement, whereby we are equipped and empowered for a day of glad obedience. Needless to say, Bonhoeffer's own life is an attestation to the force of such daily engagement. No doubt, in the United States, such faith faces some difficult days in the time to come. For that reason, we are grateful for Bonhoeffer's faithful witness. We are grateful as well for the republication of this summoning wake-up call to compelling faith and discipline. Walter Brueggemann, Columbia Theological Seminary. 1. Lord, teach us to pray. So spoke the disciples to Jesus. In making this request, they confessed that they were not able to pray on their own, that they had to learn to pray. The phrase learning to pray sounds strange to us. If the heart does not overflow and begin to pray by itself, we say, it will never learn to pray. But it is a dangerous error, surely very widespread among Christians, to think that the heart can pray by itself. For then we confuse wishes, hopes, sighs, laments, rejoicings, all of which the heart can do by itself, with prayer. And we confuse earth and heaven, humanity